So, you want to get big, you want to get swole. You've come to the right video, my friend. Creatine, or as your mother would put it, steroids, you junkie. Yeah, that's what you are, you're a junkie. Anyways, so what we're gonna cover today is what is creatine. We're gonna break down a little bit of just what it is in general, how you can benefit from it. Kind of a little bit of a exaggerated myth over creatine, and yeah, we'll just cover everything that I know about creatine. So let's get into it. So what is it? What is creatine? Creatine is the most well-researched sports supplement with over 700 human studies. There are different types of creatine, such as creatine HCl or creatine ethyl ester, and many more, but these do not have nearly the same scientific backing as simple creatine monohydrate. In order to get the same dose from 1 teaspoon of creatine powder, you'd have to eat roughly 2 pounds of raw beef. So clearly the supplementation would make more practical sense rather than eating 2 pounds of beef daily, maybe even more than that. Creatine is a small tripeptide, and it's made up of 3 amino acids that are linked together. Our bodies can produce it naturally, and it's naturally found in foods. Even if you're eating a ton of meat, you still wouldn't be getting enough to see its performance-enhancing effects. Cooking denatures the creatine anyways, so it's not a great source for creatine, and that's why I recommend supplementation. How does creatine work? The body has 3 main energy systems which work together to produce ATP. Aerobic produces ATP slowly. Anaerobic produces ATP quickly. We are not going to focus on those two because it's not really a key element. What we will focus on is phosphagen. It produces ATP extremely quickly, and it uses creatine phosphate stored in muscle. So when you need energy very quickly, like sprints or very heavy compound lifts, like a bench PR or a deadlift or a squat going really heavy, or a new PR, it relies on creatine phosphate for the energy that it needs. Studies show that supplementation of creatine boosts creatine stores by 20 to 40%. Saturation is best achieved through supplementation. The fastest way to reach saturation is through creatine loading followed by a maintenance phase. If you take 20 to 25 grams per day for a week, you'll reach saturation levels within that week. After the loading phase, just 5 grams per day will be enough to maintain saturation. You could just start at 5 grams a day with no loading, but it could take up to 1 month to reach saturation. You can reach saturation levels by taking creatine any time of day, so don't worry too much about timing it. Like, you can either take it with your pre-workout, you can take it post-workout, you can put it in your protein powder, whatever. I mean, it doesn't matter. Just make sure you're taking 5 grams a day after your loading phase, just so you can maintain those saturation levels. It's been shown by over 300 studies that there is a 5 to 15% increase in strength and power with creatine supplementation. Being able to perform more work should translate to more muscle over time. Creatine does cause water retention inside the muscle, which intramuscular water increases muscle fiber diameter, which could increase muscle growth through cellular swelling. But don't worry, it doesn't cause any like retention in the skin or anything, and you don't want that. Like, you do not want any water retention under your skin or anywhere else, but water retention or intramuscular water inside the muscle, there's nothing to worry about. If anything, it has its benefits. With creatine's affordability and low risk of side effects, it really does just make sense to supplement it if you're looking for that little boost. You do not need to cycle off creatine because your body won't build a tolerance to its effects. Going over the little exaggerated myth I mentioned from earlier, one common side effect of creatine is baldness, heavy quotation. One 2009 study found taking 5 grams of creatine per day for 2 weeks increased DHT levels by 40%, but weight training has been shown to increase DHT levels by 14.5% in 3 months. DHT is a player in hair loss, and it may only apply to men that have genetics correlating to hair loss or a family history of hair loss. Now, I would say be more cautious with creatine if you find yourself in that category, or you could just stack it with finasteride, which reduces T to THT conversion. Overall though, creatine, its benefits outweigh the costs, so it's definitely a supplement I recommend you try. and it definitely lives up to the hype. So yeah, thanks for watching, and don't let your mom catch you with steroids or creatine, sorry.